Oh, we're recording. Okay. So pretty much, just like the channel trailer, Pine wanted me to do an intro for the video, but just like, every other video, I don't know what to do for an intro. We got Donkey Kong over here in the background and some ape playing on the screen. She's funny. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video that you're about to watch, cause I know I sure do, but I haven't seen it yet, but I know I like it, cause it's
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of Late to the Party Reviews. In this episode, we will finally go over Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. And God almighty, I have so much to say about this game. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Late to the Party Reviews, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So, like last time, the first thing we'll be going over is the story, and it's actually pretty basic. While celebrating Donkey Kong's birthday, a new set of villains, the Snowmads, appear. And using their weather-manipulating horn, they quite literally blow Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Dixie Kong, Cranky Kong, and if you're on the mode, Funky Kong, 6 islands behind. From there, it's up to you to help them get back to DK Island. Like I said, quite simple. There are no cutscenes, except for the final cutscene of the game and the opening cutscene. But aside from that, there's the boss openings, and there's not much there. That's not to say these cutscenes are bad, just incredibly lacking. The story is quite simple, and surprisingly, retro games didn't stuff too much lore into it, like they did with Donkey Kong Country Returns. Anyways, on to the next topic. Wait a minute. A pirate crew hoping to take vengeance on the Kong family for seemingly no reason. A big leader who hides himself until the end, where you face off against him, with a crude temper and a toughie to take down. Oh my god. The Snowmads are just a Kremlin crew! This is K. Rool's Kremlin crew! This could have had K. Rool as the... There is quite a bit to talk about when it comes to the gameplay. It is not your average Mario platformer, but it also differentiates a lot from Sonic. Usually, you have to walk right to the goal levels. However, walking backwards isn't restricted. As doing such, you can find secret things like life balloons, bananas, banana coins, Kong letters, and puzzle pieces. To put it shortly, unlike the previous game I reviewed, which was not Baldi's Basics, I know you're gonna say that, there were a lot more collectibles here. Although I consider myself a completionist, I have to admit I did skim over a lot of collectibles. However, I did get every Kong letter. With gameplay comes enemies, and with enemies, good lord, there's a lot of variety here. From penguins to walruses to owls and mice, there are all kinds of enemies in Tropical Freeze, each of which having different sizes and attacks. Aside from the regular levels, you have Rocket Barrel and Minecart stages. And if these aren't fun as hell, I don't know what is. Each Rocket Barrel or Minecart stage feels like you're on an amusement park attraction. With all the obstacles and scenes happening in the background, it's no wonder they feel like Disney attractions. The levels in general are just fun and fast-paced, with an easy set of controls making it very fun and enjoyable. With an enjoyable game like this, there comes some minor setbacks. One of those setbacks being, holy Jesus, this game is difficult. Well, somewhat. The game starts out easy, and it gradually gets more difficult as it goes on, like it should. By the end of the game, once you've mastered everything, you feel like a pro. But to the casual audience, this game might be a bit more difficult for them, right from the start. It's not easy on you, and I have a gut feeling kids have a lot of issues with the game. Instead forgiving. Not as difficult as Country Returns, but still very difficult in its own right. The game can get really, really tense at times. There will be so much happening on screen at once, it becomes overwhelming to keep track of everything. But if I'm honest, a tense platformer is my type of game. The bosses can be incredibly fun, especially the final boss, but no matter what game you're playing, the final boss is always difficult. In this game, you have a very wide choice of characters, just like the last one. Oh, on the topic of characters. First off, there's Donkey Kong. Right down to his animations, he's practically like his old self in this game. with his iconic roll, jump, pound and all. Next up is Diddy Kong.
Little Diddy.
Good old Diddy is a bit faster than Donkey Kong, equipped with a jetpack and his iconic peanut poppers. God, they make me miss the coconut gun.
Huh?
Dixie Kong is as fast as Diddy and uses her twin tails to fly, and overall has the best jump and flight of all the characters in the game. Along with that, she's able to use her twin tails as propellers to swim down underwater for longer.
Now when I'm gone, nobody can get at the coconut.
Including me, you knuckle-dragging knuckle.
Cranky is capable of using his cane to jump on spikes and enemies, as well as having the ability to throw artificial teeth. Okay. Once you unlock hard mode and play as these three, you only get one life with little to no power-ups, so make it count. Finally, we have Funky Kong. Funky is built and crafted strictly for the speedrunners and newcomers to the series. He's practically a culmination of all four other characters, being able to hover and swim longer like Dixie, survive spikes like Cranky, and has, of course, the iconic ground pound move, though he can't shoot anything. Plus, he can breathe underwater, for a very good reason too. He has swim goggles and a snorkel. Just kidding, he's an omnipotent guy. He also has 5 hearts, unlike the regular 2. However, even with the difficulty taken down a notch with Funky, it doesn't make the game much easier. It is still a difficult game, regardless of who you're playing as. Personally, I completed the game with Funky Kong. Admittedly, this was actually my first experience with the series. However, that's not to say I haven't played other Retro Studios games, but that's for another time. Putting all that aside, this game, in general, is truly astonishing with its presentation. It's exciting, fast-paced, well-crafted, and a fun time overall. The graphics are simply amazing, and the game in itself is a treat for the eyes and ears. And of course, how can I forget that the amazingly talented David Wise is back to make the score for the game? And it is just amazing to listen to. In fact, you've been listening to this game's music for the whole review. David Wise is by far my second most favorite composer of all time, right next to Grant Kirkhope. Sorry to interrupt the review. I thought I should just give a spoiler warning for those who haven't played Tropical Freeze yet, which you haven't. What's wrong with you? But yeah, despite this game being like 4 years old, here's a timestamp on screen for those who don't want to see the ending. I'll give you some time to skip to that. Yeah. I messed it up! I messed it up! At the end of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, you basically bitch-slapped the final boss, Lord Frederick Winsdor, multiple times before launching him back into the ocean, basically obliterating his crew. Wait. Did I read that right? That's fucked up. The horn he used to freeze DK Island is then taken by Donkey Kong, who uses it to melt the ice and restore DK Island. It's quite a satisfying ending, after such a long journey of a game. Except that one part about the obliterating the I swear, that's just fucked up! That is actually fucked up. In conclusion, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, in my opinion, and many more, is one of the most fun 2D platformers in basically forever. It's fun while also adding a twist of difficulty. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, there's a secret thing you can do at the end of the game after you finish the temples, unlocking hard mode, which allows you to play as Dixie, Diddy, Cranky, that's not important right now. In total, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a solid 9.5 in my book, which I need to put down. It's an excellent game worth a play if you own a Wii U or Switch. Personally, I prefer the Air! I own the Switch version, and it's the one I would recommend the most. Thanks for getting me the game, by the way, buddy. This game is quite possibly Retro Studios' most underappreciated game, and I'm glad it's been getting more attention as of late thanks to its Nintendo Switch port. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next review, whatever that is. Farewell! Oh, and, by the way, holy shit, Cranky. You happy now?